When I talk about the connection needed on the narrow path of the big game, I mean for those of you who are sincere about doing what you came here for, like you are called, and even more clearly, being true, being true, as simple as that. The narrow path of being true. Now, what does that even mean? When you're true, one, you truly follow intuition. And the whole conversation of how do you know what's intuition or not, you probably should go research that. This is a graduated conversation here, okay? Women know. We know all that other the way we create speed bumps and stuff in our life for whatever our reasons. That conversation, have it. Oh, good. We're not doing that here, okay? Women always, and this is what I mean by the narrow path. On the narrow path, you tell the truth no matter what. On the narrow path, which is why today's topic is the connection needed on the narrow path of the big game. Because when you truly start being true, particularly as a woman, a lot of this can apply to men as well, but I'm talking particularly to women who have really all women at the end of the day, all women. And as I tell you, as the founder of the Academy for Womanhood, while we're here to have collective impact in support of women, my specialty as the founder is those of us who have always been different, and particularly melanin dominant women. Okay, to be clear. The reason why connection is so needed. Hello, OG. Thank you for the hearts. The reason why connection is so needed on the narrow path is because uh, it is a state of psychosis that we traverse oftentimes when coming back to ourselves because women are programmed, most of us from relatively young, to see ourselves as inferior to the male species, to doubt ourselves, to not trust what just comes naturally to us, to really not trust the law of least resistance, to not trust flow, to not trust our bodies, to not trust. Okay. Thank you for the compliment. And also, a rule here for those of you who are new, if you do not have a profile photo, do not speak here. If you insist on speaking, fine. Just know that you will not be acknowledged. Okay. This is social media. Connect with those who show your face. Okay. Your real face. And so, on the narrow path of telling what you all call your truth. And it's not necessarily your truth, it's what is true. Okay. When you tell what is true, for example, I like that. I don't like that. I'm having a hard time even understanding this, so I can't make a decision based on limited information. Um, it's real simple. It's simple. The feeling that a woman will get in any room, at work, with a man, with her girlfriend, anywhere, and how we are trained from a very young age to ignore, right? What you feel, what you sense, right? And this is why in the melanin dominant community, what has now been popularized is don't make your kids hug family members who they just have a feeling they don't want to hug. It used to be hug your uncle, hug your auntie, hug them now, hug them, right? Hug them. Or maybe your family didn't say it like that, but hug them, right? It was considered a disrespect if you didn't hug your uncle, right? It was considered rude and unkind if you didn't kiss your uh, uncle on the cheek or kiss your stepfather on the cheek. Okay, how many women got pregnant by their mom's stepfather? Okay, but you can start at 3, 4, 5 years old and hug your uncle. And what is that doing? That's training your daughter or your son to don't listen to this. That's communicating to them. So then when she's 27 years old and she's on the internet hearing men say she need to submit because that's your place as a woman. You are nothing if you ain't married by the time you 30 years old. listen to your body. What is this? Some Jezebel shit you got? Oh, she's primed for it because you were already telling her at 3, 4, 5 years old when that uncle who it ain't been found out yet that he has touched all the little girls in the family, and y'all said to her, let your uncle kiss you. And then you find out when she's 16 and she fucking boys at the high school that Uncle Wilson was touching on her when she was 5, 6, 7 years old because you trained her. Don't listen to your body. Be nice. Be kind. That's family. Another way is when a girl is just being true in any situation at school, with some of the babysitter, some other stranger, hell, even with their father, because how many fathers molest their daughters, right? Just because on the one hand, you love to say that children are the closest thing to God. Oh, they see things we don't see. They're the closest thing to God. But then when they demonstrate that pure essence at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years old, your grown, dirtied ass, grown ass who's been heartbroken and dirtied by life, want to tell your pure thing to no, no, you didn't see that, you didn't hear that. See, that's disrespectful. See, that's rude. See, that's unkind. Yeah, and sometimes that rude and unkind and disrespectful needs to happen. So then when you are 27, 37, 47, 57 years old, and you're starting to return back to your true bright light, who you were, how you saw, how perceptive and clear and pure you were at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years old when you adopted what your mom and dad told you to do because whatever the reasons are, right? And at the end of the day, it's because we are relying on them for food, shelter, safety, protection at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years. And when we feel like in order to get that, we have to ignore our intuition, what we just know. In order to get their love or protection and approval and to get the ice cream and to be able to go play and do all the things, we have to ignore our intuition. We have to ignore what we saw, what we knew, who we are. And then we get messed up in the process through our lives because you end up marrying a man who loves submissive women, meaning don't think, don't have an opinion, don't intuition, body wisdom, no. Ignore all that. So then they become a magnet. And then how many women, we already know the story of how that goes with a large, how about the majority of women? That's why all the trending videos about what it looks like, what? After she's been married for 20 years, she looks like his mother. She gets cancer. Her pussy dries up. She's resenting life. It's the same old story versus if she honored her intuition and her body and her wisdom when she was a child, and her mother and father encouraged that, supported that because their parents did, or because they traversed their own hell, abandoning themselves and realized, I'm not doing that with my children. I'm not teaching my children to abandon their intuition. I'm not doing that because I want them to be on the right path. So they set themselves up for the right decisions, the true spiritual marriage, not like the patriarchal marriage that says, bitch, your job, right? And I'm doing it like that because on an energy level, I don't care what people say about marriage comes from ancient Egypt and Africa, and that was not the intention of the men who created modern day marriage. That was not the intent. So I don't want to hear about, oh, it was taken from a good place. It was taken from the originators. No, that was not their intent when they created it. Okay. And this is why it doesn't work. It's not sustainable. It never was. There that is. So now here you are, 27, 37, 47, 57 years old. And now you want to return back to your intuition, your purity, which you know, oh God, that high vibrational place that every child is at before they get dirtied by their fucking guardians. Okay. That pure place. And in there, there's a psychosis of sorts, meaning, how many of you have been like, I feel like I'm going crazy. Is this right? Like, It's like you don't even know. It's like to even stand on what you know feels dangerous. Like to stand on what's true feels like, am I going to get in trouble? Because that was the sense that you had as a child, that I'm going to get in trouble if I don't agree with my parents. I'm going to get in trouble if I don't cooperate with everybody here to fit in. Anybody here relate to this? And I have to go in like soon. Okay. Everybody is saying they relate. YouTube, hey. And so when I was in Atlanta for Women Gods Gather, um, Iris and I went live, and she said something. It was just beautiful. And she said, if you want to know what a woman actually looks like, look at a child. And I'm paraphrasing. I can't remember what word she used, but she said, look at a little girl before she gets ruined by the world. She said, if you want to know what a woman is in her glory, look at what a little girl is before she gets dirtied by the world, before she's sexually abused, before she's hurt, before she's told to be quiet, stop doing that, stop doing that, stop being that, stop doing that, stop being that, stop doing that, stop being that. That's not nice. People won't like that. You won't get a man. You won't get a job. People won't like you. Stop doing this, stop doing that. And what is it for those of you who have daughters, right? Whether she's grown now or you have small daughters now, what is she like? Or what was your little girl like? Put some words in the chat. What is she like? When she's 2, when she's 3, when she's 4, she's 5, before she starts elementary or kindergarten, what is she like? Just throw some words out there. What is she like? Sweet and mischievous. What else? Carefree, intuitive. Authentic expression without fear of shame. All that. I have a niece. She's 3. She just turned 3. She is active. She's clear about what she wants. She says what she wants. When she don't want it, she tell you she don't want it. She doesn't even know shame. She doesn't know shame. She's curious and she leans in toward curiosity. She plays with things. She's highly affectionate. She's very receptive. She likes to play. It's all very clear. And then I watch myself and how I interact with her to make sure what I am is someone who helps to just hold her in that as she explores life, as she talks, as she plays, and just make sure I stop anything that's dangerous, like bleach, right? Like drinking bleach, or like, the shit that she can do to physically harm herself or like something like that. And so when you're looking to return to that and you're 37 years old, oh my God, carefree, intuitive, sweet and mischievous, authentic expression without fear of shame, you bumping up against people, either people who are already in your world see you a certain way, or new people who have all these expectations for what a 37-year-old woman is supposed to be based on their own programming and conditioning. Well, this could go deep and far and wide, and it ain't happening today because of my time limitation. And so, as you are navigating this back to yourself, you need connection. So I'm inviting you into my womanhood initiation. If you have been watching my content and you have been like, oh my God, or you didn't even know my womanhood initiation was a thing, and you would like to come in because we have our woman community. And doors to the woman community close on Sunday. So you have an opportunity to make a decision before Sunday if the woman community is where you want to have your connection as you return to your intuitive, carefree, authentic expression without shame and really waking up your sexual energy. Here's another thing about my niece. And for every young girl, women who I know who have small daughters, they don't know to be ashamed of sexuality, sex. I was holding my niece the other day and she grabs my nipples just on her own. She grabs my nipples and she was just grabbing it. And then she just started hitting my breast. And I said, she started to hit it hard. And I was like, Braxton, no, don't do that. That hurts, right? And then she was like, did the nipple. And I said, yep, this is the nipple. And then she pulled up her shirt. Like, me too. Me too. I have nipples too, right? And I was like, yep, you have nipples too. When she was still in diapers and I would change her diaper, she would touch herself and she would just, right? Those of you with little daughters, didn't they do that? Right? Um, she walks around naked, no problem. She takes off her clothes, no problem. She was watching me in the bathroom and she's like, what is that? And then doing what I do, different things in the bathroom. And my experience, oh my God. One, being a woman, first of all, my experience being a woman, but also my experience working with women in healing sexual trauma. That's a big one right there because the studies say 1 in 4. I would say it's higher than that, but a large number of women experience some kind of sexual abuse before 18, right? Whether it's molestation, rape, some boy hitting your ass without your permission, stranger grabbing your body, some guy on a date being physically aggressive. It always happens, almost always happens to all of us. Some more aggressive than others. And on top of that, what I just shared, the way life force energy has been demonized. See, when I say life force energy, oh yes, right. We lean into that. We can lean into life force energy. Yeah, life force energy is sexual energy. What does it feel like when you are activated with life force energy? Do you remember? Like, what words would you describe how you feel when you're activated with life force energy? Feel. Give me some words. Or when you're turned on. Or when you're excited. That's a word that comes out of people's mouth very easily. How does it feel when you're feeling orgasmic? And I know a lot of people associate orgasm with sex, but orgasm is when you're infused with life force energy, and that's your way of being. But like even all these, like how the mind trips when I say sex, how the mind trips when I say orgasm, how there's a sort of almost like a whatever the like wait, the suspicion, the where are we going, what does this mean kind of thing. My niece, your little daughter doesn't feel that naturally. She's trained to feel that. Your children know nothing about uh, society's ideas of sex until somebody tells them that. Before we tell them that, what do? They hug, they kiss. My niece is hugging and kissing all the time because we hug and kiss with her. The kids at the park. She goes up to kids. She thoroughly expects people to play with her. She checks on people, like if a child seems to be like crying, hurt or something. Are you okay? Like, okay. Because that's what we do with her. So if we were teaching her not to care for people, not to check on people, she wouldn't be caring and checking for kids. If we were to tell her, no, don't touch between your legs. No, that's something to be ashamed of, right? Now, there's a forgiveness when we're 5, right? There's a oh, sweet little girl. There's a forgiveness. When you're 37 and 47 and you're returning back to your intuitive, carefree, true feminine state, most men do not want a feminine woman. They want the patriarchal, sanitized feminine. They want that because then she's devoid of her life force, plump aliveness. They want that, but they don't want the full, plump, intuitive, turned on woman. That woman has been demonized. And so, what we're afraid of, why we need the connection, this is why we need the connection, because this is lifelong work, returning to who you are as a woman and staying there, who you were before. We have social media now. So, those of us over 45, it's like, versus the girls who are under 30, right? It's a different experience of relating to society and how we've been influenced, right? As you are getting back to who you are and the psychosis associated with that, and then staying there because we're bombarded with messages and imagery that a woman is, fill in the blank. You already know, right? And as soon as we see a woman who, oh my gosh, she walks into a room and she knows how to shift the room. Her very presence shifts the room. A woman who, only a woman who's on can do that. First of all, you have to go into a place of disassociation to even fit the patriarchal, sanitized feminine. You have to. Because when you are activated and you are on, you see, you sense, there's a percolation of life that cannot be governed and shut up and da, 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 da. Only the sanitized woman can be beat up and conned and talked to in a way and manipulated. So and that happens because there's a disconnection from herself. Like a woman was saying to me, we were having a conversation about how do so many of us end up in these relationships with men. And then it's not until we're depleted, exhausted, sick, resentful that we're like, what the fuck is going on? And then when we realize that we can only be in this relationship with our agreement, and it's like, how do we agree to be here? And you realized, well, I haven't even been whole in this relationship the whole time. Like, I haven't been here. My sanitized self has been here. The part of me that I want to feel some kind of love and connection and protection because my family was not there for me. And even though I don't get to be whole here, I at least get to get a modicum of connection. This is what I mean by this is why the woman who has little opinion, has no voice, and agrees and is sanitized with the patriarch, basically the woman that that was stripped from the Bible. If you can be the woman who was stripped from the Bible, oh my God, you can get and keep a husband, right? But the agreement, the unspoken agreement is that be true. Do not be who you are. Do not be plump with life. Do walking nature. What? Do not be sanitized. This is what so many men want from you when they say submission. My sister just told me yesterday that she was with a guy and she wasn't talking much. And he said to her, this is just so amazing. You don't talk much, huh? That's good. Mhm. Be quiet. Give me sex when I want it. Cook, clean the toilets, mop the floors, be what I want you to be and nothing more. If you're outside of that, see, that's your problem. See, that's why you single. Mhm. So the That's why you single is the equivalent of when you're 6, 7, 8, 9, and you're free and you're opinionated and you have ideas and you're pure the way, oh, we want a pure woman, and you're clear and you're right. And they say to you, you're not going to get a husband if you do that. Yeah, it's the equivalent. This is what I mean by how they sanitize and strip directly and indirectly the plump life force. Have clear skin, but get it through supplements. Don't get it through being an activated being. This is why you got to take juices and do all of this shit, because you're not naturally alive. Do you know what your skin would do? How you would think, breathe, live, sleep if you was true? But no, make sure you drink this supplement. Take these. You got to drink this, wear this, do that. You got to do all of this shit because we've sanitized the natural medicine of you being walking nature, because we need you to be pliable in this house. Listen, this is why when you are returning to who you were at 3, 4, 5 years, and yes, there is a refinement, obviously, that's involved because you're an adult woman alive who wants to be alive, alive, full, plump with life, true, where you can move, you're agile, you can see clearly, you're not thinking 12 times, wasting a decade of your fucking life because you're scared to be true. All of these bitches walking around with cancer or got cancer and don't know it, sick, resentful, can't lose weight because all of your life force is pushed down because you're so busy trying to be good because you ain't going to no husband and you're going to be all alone. Baby, listen, I don't got to make nothing up. All of this is what women is talking about. This is happening. I don't have to make nothing up. I don't have to exacerbate. This is what's going on. It's never been sustainable. Never. All of this talk about the women could keep their family. They couldn't afford to tell the truth. They couldn't afford to tell the truth. They couldn't afford to be true. Stop talking. We just, so many, and this is why so many of the young men who are getting it, they're going to be the ones who change the game. The young men who are getting it, or the older ones. There are a few of the older ones who are getting it, but I'm telling you, here's the thing. It is such a responsibility. It is so difficult to be a grown man and a grown woman, a true one. It is so difficult that in the face of difficulty, when life gets hard, what do so many of us do? We seek the easiest thing. We seek comfort. We seek familiarity. We seek normal. And the way things have been is normal. And listen, this could get longer, but I have a dentist appointment literally in 20 minutes. So I have to leave here in 10 minutes. To return back to your plump self so you can be unapologetic in your content. Thank you for sharing the live, everyone, and your expression. For those of you, so many women have told me my creativity has dried up. How many of you here, your creativity has dried up? You're just anxious. How many of you are overweight? You eat yourself into numbness because the only way you can stay. How many women told me, I know that the only way I'm going to be in my powerful wear is available. If a woman cannot make her own money, she will stay in the marriage. If she can't make her own money, and apparently the men are fine. So many of the men are fine with that. This is why they want another wife. When you have a plump, like her insides breathe and live like that. She's plump. The pussy stay wet. She's alive. She's sexy. Her skin. She don't need to drink this and do that and do it. All that other shit helps. It's nice. It basically multiplies her plumpness. But if a man, I can say so much about this. I'm just thinking about the time right now. If you need you. You need you. You want to get your creativity so you can make the money. Your money comes from your creativity. It comes from your plumpness. I do offer mentorship and it's expensive. So if you're not ready to invest a lot of money, you should come into the woman community, which is $99 a month. Okay. I created the woman community for the so many women who are like, I want to work with you, but they don't have 5 figures, 6 figures to work with me right now. You want to come into the woman community. To come into the woman community, you start with the womanhood initiation. Go to the link in my bio, click it and sign up womanhood initiation. Again, it says womanhood initiation at the link in my bio. We're meeting tomorrow. No, Friday. Wait, yes, Friday. We meet Friday, okay? If you need your creativity so you can make the money, okay? So you can, oh God, honey, be turned on again. How about if you do have cancer, you can start to get rid of it and actually not only get rid of it, but keep it away. How about you want to go back to who you remember you were at 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 years old? How about because you want to start, women are telling me, I want to start a podcast. I want to start a YouTube. I want to get consistent on TikTok, but I'm scared of rejection and abandonment. Yeah, see, I could take that back too. If you don't sanitize yourself, I'm not going to love you. If you don't be the way I want you to be, I'm not going to love you. I'm not going to care for you. I'm not going to protect you. I'm not going to give you attention. So then you become a grown woman who becomes easily agreeable to a man who needs a sanitized woman so he feels like a man. Because that's masculinity, not you, that woman in her highness. That's sanitized masculinity too, where my significance in the world is paying the bills around here. If I'm not paying the bills, what am I? Who am I? So, bitch, you get under me, bitch. They may not say it like that, but that's the unspoken understanding. So everybody loses. This is why Black people ain't never gonna be on top until Black women's pussy power is on swole. All this Egypt power niggas like to talk about, this whole the creation of the pyramids, you know the kind of oneness that's required. All of these, you know the kind of oneness of mind that's required. You think if I'm a submissive wife who's disconnected from myself, pussy dry, cancer growing, don't know who I am, that I'm gonna be a part of the creation of anything that is eternal? Once you know, you can't unknow. Okay. So our womanhood initiation that's coming up, and the doors close on Sunday to the woman community. So don't wait. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Go to the link in my bio, click womanhood initiation, show up either Friday or Sunday. Show up. Okay. If you're ready to rock and roll right now, and you don't need to wait, you know you want to come into the community, DM me. We can have a quick conversation inside the DM, and I'll send you the link for you to sign up for the community today. If you want to start coming home to your sexual power today, you need to go to the link in my bio and click heal your witch wound. Sign up for heal your witch wound today. Thank you for all those roses. Thank you. Hello, everybody. I've been seeing, but I don't have a lot of time to connect today. Thank you for the heart puffs, Celeste. I know I missed a lot of the comments in here. Tiara said, that's exactly why I'm with him. Why? I missed that part. Hey, Delights. Thank you for sharing. Biffy, thank you for sharing. Is it Marna? Thank you for Yon J Vibes. Thank you for sharing the live with 5 friends. Thank you for the rose row. Ancient Love, thank you for sharing the live. I miss all you guys. Hi, Miss Hallows. Thank you for the roses, Lily. Yeah. Hello. Hi, Toya. I'll be able to connect with you all more next time. Today has been a relatively busy day. So I got to get to the dentist. Tell my sorry you got they love me, I love them. Thank you for liking the live YouTube. The link for signing up for the Womanhood Initiation beneath this video on YouTube, okay? Lots of love, you all. Go to the link in my bio if you're on YouTube, if you're on TikTok, click it.